properties there. Also, the area east of Orchard Road to Clover Hill, from Highland Avenue north to the foothills in Highland. Okay. I'm getting word that we have an individual on the phone from San Bernardino County Fire, Chris Prater, who can certainly fill us in more on efforts there to fight this fire on the ground from the air. And I believe he's available now and ready to speak with us over the phone. Chris, are you there?
Hi, Michelle. Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you? I'm sure that's a loaded answer this afternoon as you guys work on this fire.
Yeah, very busy. We definitely have our hands full out here.
Okay, so what can you tell us just about the efforts to fight the fire, what's going on, how conditions and the heat is impacting this firefight, wind conditions out there? What all can you share?
So our last confirmed acreage was at 7,122 acres. We get this official acreage from flights that go in and give that to us. As soon as we get an updated one from that number, we will be sure to give it to you guys. Firefighters are out there fighting a very tough battle. They're fighting 100-plus degree temperatures, very steep terrain, and some new weather conditions today with thunderstorms that came in. With these thunderstorms, they produce downdrafts, pushing the fire in all directions, and even some dry lightning.
All right. So you would think, and maybe this is just my ignorance, but it would sound like maybe some rain or precipitation of some sort might help. But with the thunder and the lightning, that creates other issues, you're saying?
Yes, with these thunderstorms that come in, our two main concerns are the lightning. They can possibly start new fires, and obviously we have the safety of our firefighters in mind. And second, the downdrafts. They produce winds that come in and push the fire in all directions and are impossible to predict what direction it's going to go in.
So then how are the crews that are on the ground there? How do they kind of combat a situation like that? Or can they?
Crews are working hard. We have hand crews in there, and dozers, fire engines, reinforcing some of these containment lines and trying to provide structure protection in areas that need it the most. We put a high emphasis on the areas that are being impacted immediately. This fire has been very unpredictable today, as you can tell with the latest evacuation orders that have been issued by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department.
So let's talk about those evacuation orders. Have any structures actually at this point caught on fire, or this is just a precaution right now? What can you share about that?
All of these orders are issued out by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. We do not have any reports of any damage to structures at this time. Our number one concern is the safety of the public. We would like to get them time to get out of harm's way and evacuate in a timely manner. One thing we'd like to also share with them is that if you're in an area that is affected by an evacuation order, please evacuate as soon as possible. Have time to get your family out safely. Take care of your loved ones, elderly, possibly neighbors with disabilities, and just look out for each other. By getting out of the area, this also provides us ample time to get in and room to protect your house and property.
For sure. With the conditions out there, we know that it is already hot. Then you add in, of course, fighting a fire. I can only imagine just the conditions that your crews are having to work through. Can you talk about the response size, about how many firefighters are out there right now? And then what does that look like? Is there a rotating out or what can be done?
Yes, all the firefighters have a work-rest cycle. During that work-rest cycle, they are encouraged to drink lots of water, stay hydrated, and to look out for one another.
How many, do you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry. As of this morning, we had a little over 500 personnel. That number is going to grow exponentially throughout the day. There is a large order for resources coming throughout the state and federally for extra crews, extra engines, and for air support.
Okay. With regard to air support, about how many choppers are out now making air drops or retardant drops or water drops?
I don't have the exact number on the aircraft, but we do have helicopters. We do have fixed-wing aircraft, both making water drops on this fire. Okay.
Chris, I'm sure you have or could share more insight. Anything else that you can offer that we haven't touched on, which our viewers need to know, especially viewers that are living in this area?
I think the two biggest things we want to share with the public is, one, be prepared. If you're in an evacuation warning area, get ready, have the stuff that you need to evacuate, and have a plan. Have at least 2 ways to get out of the area that you live in. The second thing would be stay informed. This fire is changing very quickly, and it's impossible to predict. So we ask the people to stay informed of any possible evacuations that might be affecting their area and have a plan.
Okay, what is the best way they can stay informed? Are you social media? Is there a website? What do you recommend?
Yes, right now this fire is under unified command by the United States Forest Service, San Bernardino Unit, CAL FIRE, and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Their socials are the best way to stay informed, and we ask them to just stay up on it and be ready to leave at a moment's notice.
Okay. When you say be prepared, I mean, what can people do, especially those people that are under that haven't been ordered out, but that are being told they may have to leave? What can they be doing right now if they're watching this coverage and saying, hey, I need to be getting prepared? What does that look like?
Just taking all the important documents that you might need to take with you, prescriptions, and don't forget about your pets.
The pets, okay. And there are resources for the pets, too, where they can take the pets if they need to.
Correct, and all that information can be located on the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department social media sites.
Okay. Any closures to, I know there's two ways you say to get out, but I know also some road closures are in effect right now because of this fire. So how does that impact people possibly trying to plan an escape route?
Yes, the road closures do play an effect, and the largest one being the fact that Highway 330 is closed in both directions. So the best advice we can give people is to have a plan. That's why we tell them to have two ways out in case one doesn't work. They have another way to safely exit the area.
Okay. For the people who have not been told to leave yet, that are under those warnings, would you say that it might be just best for them to go ahead and act now instead of waiting, or just kind of hang tight and see what happens?
I would say if you have a warning issued in your area, be ready to go. Have the car ready, have your family ready, have a plan, have those evacuation routes mapped out. And if you feel like you need to leave, it's okay to leave, even though an order has not been issued yet.
Right, for sure. All right, Chris, I'm going to ask you again, just if there's anything else that I didn't address that you think is important to know. Are there also any, sometimes I know we'll see within one area there's kind of a larger fire, and then there are smaller fires that kind of crop up near that area. Are there any other fires out there that you all are also dealing with today on a smaller scale that also are kind of stretching resources out there?
Not that I'm aware of, but we do have multiple agencies coming together to help suppress this fire, everybody working towards a common goal. That being said, we also need the help of the public to make sure this is a success. We all need to work together, and the biggest thing that they can do is be prepared and stay informed.
Okay, perfect. All right, Chris, well, thank you so much for taking your time to speak with us today. This has been insightful, and good luck out there. We're, of course, keeping an eye on this for our viewers as well. All right, so we're going to go back now. Chris, thank you again. We're going to go back now to Air 7, which you are seeing on the left side of your screen there, which gives a really, really, really good indication of just how thick the smoke is as a result of this fire blanketing this area over Highland, where this fire is right now. We know that this, again, started on Thursday. But since yesterday, within about 24 hours now, it has exploded. It is the line fire, as we're calling it, at 24 hours now, growing to 7,100 acres with 0% containment, as firefighters are working very diligently, as you heard Chris there describing, to try to get a handle on this. But the conditions out there, the heat, which we've all felt today, and also now thunderstorms that are moving into the area are causing some issues. What was interesting that Chris shared is that those thunderstorms are creating downdrafts, which then blow the wind in all different directions. So as you can imagine, as you're out there trying to battle this fire with these flames, it doesn't help to have the wind then blowing the flames every which way and blowing embers every which way. Just certainly doesn't help with the firefighting efforts. But at least 500 personnel on the ground, that number growing. State and federal resources, just firefighting crews from all over, and then in the air, fixed wing aircrafts and also helicopters that are making various drops. And maybe if we are lucky, we will be able to see that happening. But again, okay, the smoke there making it difficult to even possibly see that. So we're going to speak with now someone who lives in Highland who's impacted by this. Her name is Celeste. And Celeste, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Hi, Celeste. How's it going? I'm sorry that we're having to speak with you under these circumstances, but tell us what you are seeing right now.
I can see from my back window, I am facing towards literally the mountain. It's just very dark and a bunch of ashes falling, but not so bad, and like the orange skies. And the sun's just like super red.
So
it smells really bad.
It smells bad. So what you're seeing and what you're smelling indicating that this fire is in your area. Now, we know you're in Highland. Are you someone who's under an evacuation warning right now, who's being told to possibly prepare to leave?
No, we haven't heard anything yet. I am a couple blocks away from the Emmanuel Baptist Church. We are told if any emergency, we just go there. So we have not yet been told just to stay indoors and not to go out. It's just really bad conditions.
So how are you dealing with that? I would imagine it's a little bit frightening, right, to be told to stay indoors, but you know that you're seeing and smelling and just seeing online, on TV, what's happening just right outside your door. So how are you kind of dealing with any anxiety around staying in your home, knowing what's happening outside?
So my kids and I and my husband, we are just staying locked doors indoors with our humidifiers, or not humidifiers, our air purifiers going, and just the AC running, just kind of just sitting tight inside, not going out at all. Our animals are inside, so we don't have to worry about them with the conditions.
Okay. Chris Prater, who we just spoke with, said, people should be prepared. And I asked, hey, what does that look like? And he said, getting medicines or documents together in case you do have to leave your home. Has there been any of that you and your family have been able to do? Or are those conversations you're having right now to say, hey, if we do have to leave, what bags are we packing?
Extra emergency backpack in my car, as always. But yes, just the documents. It's always just one big folder and just get ready to go. So it's all right here, just ready to grab and go.
Just ready to grab and go for sure. Have you, this time of year, wildfires, we see them often. Is this something you've experienced before? Is this your first time?
No, what we did just back in California, years ago, I want to say, back in 2020, before 2012, when by Lake Arrowhead, I want to say, but no, I've just always been extra over-prepared as always. So water with toilet paper, extra food, dry foods, everything always ready in a bag to go.
Yeah, it's certainly a scary situation. And then we know, too, sometimes on the opposite end of this, in the wintertime when there's snowstorms, your community also can be impacted in a significant way by the snowstorms there as well. So kind of the opposite end of that spectrum. If you can, we would love to see, I'm sure, whenever you have a chance, just what you're seeing from outside your window, Celeste, if you can send in any videos or pictures for us so we can kind of see what it looks like for somebody who is there just kind of close to where this fire is burning. What are you hearing from neighbors? Or is there any type of citizen app or Facebook group where you all are in communication? Any type of text messages you all are sending back and forth? What are neighbors saying to you?
Oh yeah. So me and my neighbors, because I live in a cul-de-sac, we all are on a group message. So we're just all keeping track. Okay, you guys leaving, you guys staying. Just as whoever's staying, keep a watch out for the houses. But none of us have left. We're still all here and just buckling it down. If we need anything, we just we'll just text each other, and one of us run real quick, grab it, and go.
Okay. How are you staying? We appreciate you, of course, tuning in with us, but how else are you kind of staying on top of this? Is it a lot of social media viewing? Or are you kind of staying on top of the agency's web pages? What are you doing for those updates?
My Ring, all of us neighbors on the Ring app are keeping in contact with each other. And then I'm also on the watch duty, constantly refreshing and checking it, and then just looking outside as well.
Yeah. Do any text messages come through from the sheriff's department or anything?
No, but my son's friend's mother, she lives a few blocks more down, and she got a text message to evacuate. So. From the sheriff. So that's how I know, okay, we're looking out for this type of message.
Yeah, so that is at least helpful, that if, and prayerfully it doesn't come to this for you and your family, but if you do have to leave, you get that notification on your phone from the sheriff and you're able to, as you mentioned, just grab the items that you already have prepared and head to the church. You said that church, Emmanuel, was it?
Emmanuel Baptist.
Yeah, okay, so that would be the place that you and your family would then head to.
We're going to family's house if it gets to that point, if we have to leave.
Okay, if it gets to that point. You sound great and in good spirits, but can I ask, how are you feeling right now? What's kind of going through your head?
I'm just literally just on my phone checking, okay, we're good. The most accurate, quickly responses we're getting is just on the ring app. Like, everyone is just constantly posting, it's right here. So when I see, okay, it's over more further, or like, oh, we got this notification, it's right here exactly at the pinpoint, I'm like, okay, it's not that close, we're fine. So as long as the kids are busy with movies and games, we're fine. So I think that's what if I just keep going and then just knowing, okay, there's it is, we're fine, just notifying me.
Yeah. If you don't mind my asking, how old are your kids? Are they younger, a little bit older? And then what is their response been? Are they kind of aware of what's going on?
So I have a 5-year-old boy. He's just like, oh my God. And I have an 11-year-old, and she's just like going through the windows, taking videos and pictures, and her friends are sharing along. So they're just kind of like not scared of it. My son is a little bit, but he's just distracted here and there. But other than that, they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Right. It is such a scary situation. So our hearts definitely go out for you and your family. Great to hear that you have not been evacuated, but just certainly a situation that you don't necessarily want to find yourself in, knowing that a fire is so close to your home. One last thing for you. We know that there's some thunderstorms in the area. Have you heard any thunder, seen any rain?
I've heard there's rain happening, but from where I'm at, I have not had any rain or thunderstorms, so we've still been clear from that as well.
Okay. All right. Well, Celeste, I believe that's all, we've covered all of it in terms of what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what your family is going through. Anything else you want to add? If you have any neighbors out there that are hearing you and saying, hey, that's our neighbor Celeste, what are kind of some words of encouragement you can share for them?
Just hang in there, hang tight, and we just kind of just all stick together and just constantly keep checking the ring and social media to keep us up to date with everything. For sure. Well, Celeste, we certainly appreciate your time today as you're dealing with this. We appreciate you making time to kind of fill us in on what's going on up there, and we'll be in touch with you throughout the evening. And again, if you have any, pictures or videos that you're able to get over to us, those would certainly help us also paint the picture of what's happening in your community. Celeste, thank you so much. Oh, yeah. I've been sending all morning. I have IG photography, so I woke up at 5 a.m., 6, took photos, and sent them on over. So since 5 and 6, have you seen the conditions kind of deteriorate from what you're seeing on your camera? Oh, yeah, like definitely a big change, different from now. So around 6, there's a street up past going up all the way past Boulder, and the house is right there, literally so close right there, and I was able to get a good, clear view. I had sent those over as well. So between then and by, I want to say, I think it was around before 12 or 1, that's when I seen a big jump, so fast. Yeah, so within kind of a few hours, it seems like once things really heated up out there, the fire also. Yeah, and a little breeze as well we're getting. A little breeze, okay. All right, well, Celeste, stay safe. Thank you again for your time. And yes, I'm sure I haven't seen those images, but I'm glad to hear that we have them here, and I'm sure we'll get them on air at some point this afternoon, Celeste. Thank you so much for your time as well. Okay. You have a good one. You too, Celeste. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a look now, I believe, at some of the rain that was happening in Apple Valley a bit earlier today. Again, one of the things that was shared about this fire and firefighting efforts are now there are thunderstorms in the area that have caused a couple issues for crews that are working there. The lightning creating an issue, and also downdrafts, which are, I just learned, when the wind is kind of blowing in various different directions. So as fire crews have been working in some really tough conditions out there, 100+ degree temperatures, they've also then had these thunderstorms come into the area, which have caused issues as they try to fight this fire. In this video here that we were just showing from Apple Valley, you can actually see that a tree there kind of blowing in the wind, kind of all different directions. You see the leaves going every which way, which kind of serves as an example of what I was mentioning about those downdrafts, which were explained to me as the wind moving in various different directions, which then creates an issue for the firefighters because they don't know kind of which way to go or which way to stand or which way to be safest as they try to battle this line fire right now. All right, so we just spoke with Celeste, who lives in Highland. She shared what she and her neighbors
are dealing with and going through, which was helpful for us to hear from her, and then also Chris Prater as well. So let's go ahead and go over right now again as you're looking at this evacuation map here for the area. We've got evacuation orders in place for all of Running Springs and Arrow Bear Lake. So that is an order that people living there have to now evacuate their homes, no questions asked. Also the area east of Orchard Road and Clover Hill from Highland Avenue north to the foothills in Highland. And again, people living in those areas being told they must evacuate right now and get out as soon as possible with their belongings. Hopefully they're prepared and don't just have to leave without vital things like documents and medicines as well. Then there are also some warnings we want to mention, meaning that residents in these areas need to be prepared to evacuate, and those are for parts of East Highland, those neighborhoods east of Church Street, north of Highland Avenue, the neighborhoods east of Weaver, north of Green Spot, and then the Iron Bridge. For people who do have to evacuate, there is the Emmanuel Baptist Church on Baseline Street in Highland. Celeste, who we just spoke with over the phone, mentioned that that is just a short distance from where she lives, and she knows some of her neighbors are speaking about possibly having to go there. She mentioned to us she would actually go to a family member's home, which is helpful. But if you do not have close family, Emmanuel Baptist Church on Baseline Street in Highland is where you would head. And then also, okay, we're going to speak with someone now, Bianca in Highland, I believe. Also an animal shelter, I want to mention Devore Animal Shelter in San Bernardino if you have pets. So Bianca, do you have me? And if you can start by just telling me what you're seeing right now out of your window and how you're feeling.
Yes, hi, Michelle. I can see the fire intensifying, and I'm more to the west, but it's moving pretty fast.
Okay. What indicates to you that it's moving fast? Are you seeing that the flames are getting brighter? Is it kind of blowing?
I can see the flames going brighter, and the fire personnel are zooming across the street from me. Pretty fast.
Wow, what a frightening.
I can see a bulldozer climbing up the hill.
So, but right now you are being told that there's an evacuation warning for you, or?
Yes, I'm under evacuation warning.
Okay, so how are you feeling just seeing all this? What's going through your head?
I'm feeling a little nervous. I will probably be actually leaving my house soon. I'm literally one street away from the mandatory evacuation orders.
Okay, so leaving your house then, have you been spending some time getting things together? What has it looked like to kind of prepare for having to leave your home with these flames quickly approaching?
I started to get some clothes together and some important family heirlooms, and as well as my dog supplies. Yeah,
well, okay, so you have a pet too. What kind of dog do you have?
She's a pit bull.
A pit bull, okay. How's she doing? How is she kind of aware of the commotion that's going on? Does she smell the smoke? How's she reacting?
She's fine. She's been sleeping most of the time. We just take her out to use the restroom really quickly and immediately bring her back in.
Okay, yeah, the dogs, they have that luxury, right, of sleeping through and not having to worry while the humans are trying to figure out and scramble what happens next. Okay, so you mentioned we. So who all is in your family and who all will be evacuating, and where do you all plan to go? Are you going to Emmanuel Baptist, or do you have a family friend or family members home?
I have a family member.
Okay.
It's me, my parents, and my brother.
Okay, your parents and your brother.
Yes.
And you. So you said, getting a bag together, important documents. We were told earlier, kind of have two routes that you can escape, so to speak. I know escape is kind of a very scary word, but two evacuation routes. But we know Highway 330 is closed in both directions. So if you have to get out of there, what does that look like for you in terms of travel?
I'm off of Highland Avenue, so I'm going to go directly down the hill until I hit Boulder. Okay.
It sounds good that you have that plan and you already know, hey, if we have to hit the road, this is what this is going to look like for us. Have you experienced any other wildfires? Have you ever had to go through something like this?
Once, about maybe 4 years ago, there was a fire across from us, kind of on the same hill, but definitely not as big.
Yeah, not as big.
I'm right off the 330.
Okay. Yeah, and just to hear you describe it too, with you saying that you can see the fire personnel kind of zipping back and forth and the bulldozers. I mean, it sounds like this is very, very close to you. And just also too, I'll ask you, have you seen the rain or heard those thunderstorms in the area?
I have definitely heard the thunderstorms, and we even seen some lightning strikes hitting the hill.
Wow.
And wind.
So you saw the lightning actually, hit the hill. Did that kind of, did you see the crews at all have to kind of retreat and then kind of back up a little bit? Or when that lightning happened, they continued on with what they were doing?
It was way too smoky to be able to see anything.
Okay.
See them.
So how are you staying on top of all of this? Are you texting with your neighbors? Are you just on socials? Have you gotten any kind of message from the sheriff on your phone via text message?
I've actually been sharing videos and updates with my community because not everyone is getting the same information clear about evacuation warnings or orders, or some aren't even notified at all. So I've been using social media as a tool to connect with them. And I've also been driving around, and I've seen our wonderful neighbors donating food, giving water and masks, and everyone's just looking out for each other up here.
Yeah. Do you have any type of mask on? Are you using any type of air purifier running in your home right now?
We're using N95.
Okay. So you and your family have your masks on, your bags kind of packed and ready, and then just your phone handy to stay updated?
Yes.
How are your other family members doing? I know you sound like you're in a relatively good spirits. How about your parents and your brother? What are they saying to you, and how are they feeling this afternoon?
I think we're all in a similar mindset. We're pretty calm.
Pretty calm. Cool heads prevail, right? In situations like
Yes.
this, if you can prevent freaking out, I'm sure that helps too. What can you do besides just pay attention to what officials are saying, and if you have to leave your home, leave your home. Anything else, Bianca, that you can share just about what you're seeing? I know you mentioned that it's a lot of thick smoke in the area, so it kind of makes it hard to see. But out of your window, you said also some flames. What do those look like?
They're moving pretty fast, and they're pretty bright, and the smoke is really dark.
Yeah, what a scary situation you and your family are in. I know you've been speaking with our assignment desk, and they help set up this conversation. So if you are able to, continue to get us pictures and videos that we can share here online, that's certainly helpful as we, cover this fire in your backyard, literally, Bianca.
Yes.
All right, Bianca. Well, thank you so much. Again, we've been speaking with this young lady, Bianca, who lives in Highland. She says her and her family are preparing to evacuate. They are one street over from where individuals are already being told to evacuate. So she is kind of bracing for the reality that maybe she gets notification from the sheriff soon that she and her family are going to have to evacuate. And if so, Bianca says that she's going to go to a family member's home, which is not far away. And she's just going to go. She has her evacuation route planned and is ready to possibly do that. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at some photos now. Celeste, who we just spoke with about 5 or so minutes ago before we were speaking with Bianca, sharing these photos for us. She mentioned she's a photographer, and she sent these in for us. She is one of the people living in Highland right now. She says that she is not under an evacuation order or warning right now, but she is prepared possibly to have to evacuate. So you can see in this photo here, it just changed, but you can see that kind of fire line as that fire burns there. And then she spoke with us about some of the conditions in terms of the smoke being smelling really bad. And I think that picture, the picture that was a little bit more orange there, kind of really encompasses the smokiness of this community. And if you look kind of closer to the street, to how it's foggy there, these are from, again, Celeste, who lives in Highland. She shared these with us from her backyard, or her window of what it looked like in her backyard. And I believe when I spoke with her, she said that those photos were taken earlier, but since then the fire, she said, I believe, has moved a lot closer to her in where she lives in her community. Again, in Highland, not being told she has to evacuate yet, but taking those precautions there after seeing with her own camera lens just how bad the conditions were out there, and looking through her window and seeing what was going on there. So for those of us who maybe can safely take any pictures or videos, we would also love to see what you're seeing from your homes. Certainly, if you can take them through a window, that might be a better idea than having to step outside in these conditions. But if you are able to do that, there is a QR code that you see right there on your screen on the bottom left. All you have to do is just go ahead and scan that code. You'll be taken to our website, abc7.com/tips, if you want to enter that in manually. And there is a link there where you can go ahead and upload pictures and videos. You can share with us in details what we're seeing. And also, if you're able to, maybe we can get in contact with you and speak with you on air, too, about how this fire is impacting your Saturday afternoon. All right. We are also following, of course, extreme heat out there. So if you just take a look at what we're seeing right now from Air 7, they do have the locator map on for us, which shows kind of what we're looking at. State Highway 18 there. And it's kind of hard to see partially because of just the smoky conditions out there, but it gives you a good idea of where this fire and where the smoky conditions are thickest right now as we zoom in. So Green Spot Road, I believe, was one of the roads that was mentioned in the evacuation orders for us, or maybe that was warnings, I think. Yeah, warnings. So that area of Green Spot is under a warning. But again, let's go over right now where people are being ordered to evacuate. So we have all of Running Springs and Arrow Bear Lake, the area east of Orchard Road, to Clover Hill, from Highland Avenue north to the foothills in Highland. So orders, meaning people that are being ordered to leave have to do so immediately and get out of their homes and either go to, the safest place of shelter, which we know there's a church that's taking evacuees. Also, the couple people that we spoke with said luckily they have a relative in the area that can take them in this situation. We also want to go over to, I believe, the warnings right now. So these are for residents that need to be using this time to prepare to evacuate. So that's getting together their important documents, clothing, any medications, prescription medicines that they might need. Those areas are for parts of East Highland, and they include the neighborhoods that are east of Church Street, north of Highland Avenue, and neighborhoods east of Weaver, north of Green Spot, to the Iron Bridge. As mentioned, for people that do have to evacuate and maybe do not have a relative close by or a family friend in the area, there is an evacuation shelter at Emmanuel Baptist Church on Baseline Street in Highland. Also, for those people who have pets, they can take their pets to the DeVore Animal Shelter in San Bernardino if you do have to evacuate. And again, the conditions, South Coast Air Quality Management District extending a smoke advisory for the area as well. So what we're seeing right now, if you look on your screen there, Air 7 just getting a glimpse at a fixed wing aircraft that was coming from the smoky area there, indicating possibly some type of drop as they do in these situations with water and fire retardant to try to get a hold of this fire. At last check, which is since we've been on air covering this and this afternoon, this fire is 0% contained, more than 7,100 acres, but firefighters really working diligently on the ground and on the air, as you're seeing this fixed-wing aircraft right now, to try to start containing some of it so it's not continuing to spread there. And so we're zooming out now, but maybe we'll be able to see through that smoke. Just what it looks like is that aircraft kind of goes into that area and drops the retardant to try to get a hold on some of these flames. Ground video, as you're seeing on your right-hand side, gives you kind of a closer look of what it looks like beneath the smoke that you're seeing on the left-hand side there. So these are, flames that are very active, burning up this hillside as the wind seems to be blowing in that direction. Some bulldozers and fire crews there that kind of bulldoze on those fire lines to try to prevent the fire from jumping from one area to the next. If you look towards the bottom of the screen there, there seems to be what appears to me as some type of ridge or retaining wall or something, which maybe would indicate homes are close to that area, maybe possibly on the side of the screen that we're not seeing. And these flames just not at all far away. It's a little bit too close to comfort, right, if you're living in these communities. And we did speak with several individuals. One young lady, Bianca, who told us just outside of her window, the street over from her, there were active flames that she could see. So, you know, imagine being in that situation and in her shoes, and what that feels like, what you have to do, and kind of mentally prepare for having to leave your home, and not just hoping and praying that firefighters will be able to stop the flames from getting to your property. Now, we're seeing the flames, we're seeing the smoke. Another thing that has been an issue for firefighters here is thunderstorms that have now moved into the area, which this is my ignorance on firefighting, but you would almost think that the rain and the precipitation and the wet conditions would maybe help to cool things off. But I was told and informed by Chris Prater, who we spoke with, that actually creates issues with lightning, number one, which Bianca told us that she could see some lightnings hitting the hillside from her windows. So it's the lightning that becomes an issue. Obviously, if it's already hot conditions out there, lightning's only going to intensify things, right? And then also downdrafts and the wind blowing in different directions every which way, which then creates a problem for the firefighters who are already battling these extreme heat and conditions, and then having to try to predict and likely, try to avoid the fire burning one way or another in their direction. So just overall, a really difficult situation for our firefighters. We were told there are at least, but this number is growing, at least 500 fire personnel, state and federal resources being poured into this fire. Crews on the ground, also crews in the air. This is, fire crews from all over the area being called in to the Highland area for the line fire, which, as we understand, moving also toward Running Springs a bit. The good news that I do want to highlight that Chris Prater shared is based off of what he knows right now. No structures have been damaged. So while we can understand, especially based off those conversations we had with Celeste and Bianca, while structures may be threatened, as far as Chris was able to tell us and share, no structures have actually been damaged. So just hats off to firefighters who are doing everything that they can in their power to make sure that people in these areas, that their homes are not damaged as well. So again, what you're looking at right now on your right-hand side, photos shared from Celeste, who lives in Highland. We spoke with her probably about 10, 15 minutes ago at this point. She just shared that she is not being told to evacuate right now. She's not under a warning or order, but she knows that based off of what she's seeing, based off of the smoke she's seeing, based off of the smell and what that smoke smells like, that she knows this fire is close to her home. She has two young kids. Who are, she's trying to keep busy with, having them just enjoy some movies and kind of not drawing too much attention to it. But also in the back of her mind, as you can imagine, she is trying to prepare her family for possibly having to evacuate their home. Just a scary situation. She shared these photos. I say all of that to say she shared these photos of just the conditions out there this morning. For her, you can see how hazy it is. You can see how orange it is. That's from the flames. That's from the smoke. And she said that those conditions, since she took that photo, have only intensified, have only gotten worse. So if that's what that looked like earlier today, now at 6 o'clock, we can only imagine how much worse it's gotten. And then this photo here that she shared, saying now that that fire has moved closer to her from where she took it. So again, if you are able to safely share photos or videos, we want to see what it looks like from your backyard. We want to see what it looks like out of your window. There is a QR code on your screen there, abc7.com/tips. If you want to enter that website manually, just scan the code there or go to the website. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your laptop, your desktop, and share with us what you're seeing. And we will share that here on air on Eyewitness News as well. So I'm being joined now by Jory Rand, who's here too. He, I know, has been kind of following this and updating and can update us on what he knows.
Right. And so we just want to welcome everyone who is watching us here streaming on ABC7 on our app, on our website. This is the line fire, of course, burning east of Highland. It broke out on Thursday, and residents there have kind of been watching this churning off in the distance for the last couple of days. There were evacuation orders set in place today. There were evacuation warnings set for other neighborhoods, and that is for folks who need to be ready to leave. Well, those have been ramped up here as this fire has now exploded to more than 7,000 acres burning in Highland. And so you see the video here with the map interlaid on top of it. Just what we're dealing with, the air quality out there. There's a smoke advisory from this fire, and it's understandable why. It looks like it is just hanging around. The hope is, after it being so hot for so long now, that once the sun goes down, you get a little bit of relief. Typically, we do see that. Fires tend to die down once the sun goes down, but it has been staying so hot, even at night, that you're really not going to get that aid that you normally get from just the temperature, cooling things down. Whatever they can do, firefighters welcome that help every night, but we're just not seeing that. It's a very atypical Southern California heat wave where the nights are really staying. It's not just the fact that they're staying warm, they're remaining hot. I mean, we're seeing places in the upper 80s and the 90s at midnight, which is just unheard of in Southern California, this Mediterranean climate. And so this is becoming a problem, but I did hear you say that it doesn't sound like structures have been damaged at this time. And
at this time,
right.
Yes. That's what Chris Prater with the San Bernardino County Fire told us. That was about 30 minutes ago at this point. But, you know, just to hear Bianca and Celeste, who were kind enough to call in and share with us, I mean, just to imagine, I've never been in this situation. I'm sure some of our viewers maybe possibly have, unfortunately, to look out of your window and just see flames literally coming and approaching to your home, even though no structures have been damaged. Yeah. There's a threat that a lot of structures and homes could be damaged, but firefighters just, you know, doing all they can in these conditions to try to prevent that from happening. I can only imagine what it feels like under all that gear, with the conditions out there and with flames burning like feet away from you to have to do this. So. Right,
and you talk to residents who are affected by fires every time. They say they're watching the smoke, they realize it's close. Some are hoping it kind of turns and burns another way, or the firefighters will be able to mitigate the approach of the fire until it doesn't. You know, you think you're fine until you're not. And so you watch this thing burning in the distance and you always think, what are you going to do? How much time will we have? Will we have enough time? That's why everyone is advised to have all their things together, have any medications that you need, have any paperwork that you would need in the event that your home is lost. But just look at this smoke. It is overwhelming our shot here. There's the cloud cover, but there is just so much smoke being poured off of this large fire. 7,100 and I believe 22 was the last count of acreage that has burned. This thing has turned into a monster. And for folks who thought that it wasn't going to be a problem, it looks like now for some areas this is indeed going to be a problem. You can see on the bottom right, it looks like in red, areas that are affected with warnings and advisories. But there are evacuation orders in place. Let's give you the rundown here. All of Running Springs and Arrow Bear Lake, those are evacuation, I believe those are evacuation orders. So if you are in those areas, you need to evacuate now. Also, east of Orchard Road to Clover Hill, from Highland Avenue North to the foothills. These are orders. So if you are living in these areas, you must evacuate now.
Okay. There are also some warnings that people, residents who live there, they are being told to prepare to evacuate. So they don't have to leave right now, but certainly should be using this time to possibly be prepared. Those are parts of East Highland. Those include neighborhoods east of Church Street, north of Highland Avenue, and neighborhoods east of Weaver, north of Green Spot to the Iron Bridge. There is an evacuation shelter for people who do have to leave their homes at Emmanuel Baptist Church. That's on Baseline Street in Highland. There's also an animal evacuation shelter at DeVore Animal Shelter that's in San Bernardino County. And it also just a warning from the South Coast Air Quality Management District that the smoke in the area is unhealthy to breathe. Bianca, I believe, told us when we spoke with her that she and her family are in their home and they're wearing N95 masks. So you do want to be cautious, even if you're not in the area of a warning or an order. If you do have to step outside of your home, maybe to walk your dog, to maybe put some type of mask on. Also, if you have an air purifier that you can just kind of run in your home, maybe it would be a great time to go ahead and turn that on. Because the air quality, because of the smoke, which we're seeing right there on our screen, is just so poor right now because of this fire. Yeah, this is a widespread fire. And just to kind of emphasize the point, when the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department put out notice of these evacuation orders, it reads effective immediately with a little flashing red light and the area that's under the orders, and then spells orders in all caps. They are not messing around. These are orders. You are now ordered by the San Bernardino County Sheriff to evacuate. It is not safe. And we have seen in past fires when folks try to stick around for too long, what it does is you're diverting resources from the actual firefight to rescue operations. If people need to be saved from their home, you're taking firefighters who normally would be on the front lines trying to stop this fire, and now they have to look elsewhere to try and save you from your home when you were ordered to evacuate in the first place. So this is no joke. They are serious. If you are in those areas, you must evacuate now and seek some shelter. Okay, let's go ahead and get to Shayla Gerard now. She can give us just more details on this fire, the conditions out there. Hi, Shayla.
Yeah, really dangerous setup. When we talk about the conditions that these fire crews are facing, we are talking about not only very hot weather, we've all been feeling these temperatures over the past several days, but also really dry conditions coming off the week we just had. So we do have this red flag warning you can see impacting much of Southern California, including the area where that fire is burning. And this is going to be sticking around for several more days. We're talking about hot, dry conditions, not only tonight, but as we head into tomorrow as well. The other thing to keep in mind is these are the conditions where we could see more fires pop up. So it's very important that everyone stays very mindful while we continue to deal with windy, dry, and of course that excessive heat we've been feeling all week long. So excessive heat warning still in effect as we head into our higher elevations, into the IE. We're talking about temperatures well into the triple digits. This heat wave we've been feeling extending just day after day, certainly going to be a big concern for those fire crews out there as they continue to battle these flames. All part of the reason why we saw this fire just explode so quickly. You can see right now from our Blue Ridge sky cam, we have smoky skies a lot out there in the distance. Many of you are probably already noticing the air quality out there this afternoon. You're smelling that smoke. You're feeling it when you're breathing. Palmdale right now coming in 97 degrees. So taking a look at the temperatures, this is not helping fire crews out there this afternoon and into this evening. As we head out into higher elevations, Wrightwood, Big Bear, you're in the 70s, but out to the IE towards where this fire is burning, very hot. And we've also seen that thunderstorm activity earlier today. That also adds to those chances to spark a wildfire as well. And just look at these temperatures. I mean, this says it all. Van Nuys, Burbank, Woodland Hills, Chino Hills, all coming in very close to that triple-digit mark or higher as we're approaching 6:30 p.m. this evening. Now, winds, this is the good news. It hasn't been as windy as what we've seen earlier in the week. You can see as we head out to where that fire is burning, we are seeing some breezy conditions. Most of you are feeling those winds in the teens, so definitely not ideal for those fire crews, but we're not dealing with these big Santa Ana winds that can make these fires that much more difficult to fight. Right now, San Bernardino coming in the teens, Wrightwood in the single digits. Riverside, though, also seeing the wind speeds in the teens. So not ideal for these crews, but not as bad as it could be. Air quality right now, again, this is all effects from that smoke. You're definitely feeling it if you step out the door as you head out into the IE. That is red. It's unhealthy for everyone. So we've heard about people indoors with their N95 masks. If you can, stay inside. Try not to let the outside in. Keep those windows closed. Have those air filters on. And I want to show you this real quick. So this is the wind forecast right where that line fire is burning. This is the good news for those crews. crews. So we do have another couple hours of what we could see are some breezier conditions. Wind speeds could even creep up into the teens, and these are sustained winds. So gusts definitely could be higher than this. But look what happens when we head into this evening. So 8, 9, 10 p.m., those winds really going to die down into the single digits. That's really going to help those crews, even though the temperatures is still going to stay really hot, and then starting to ramp up again as we head into tomorrow morning. So that definitely a silver lining for the crews. But overall, we are talking about dangerous conditions. We've got the heat in the mix, Jory and Michelle. We have those dry conditions that we've seen all week long, and we are coming off of a massive heat wave. So all a big part of why this fire was able to just gain momentum today so quickly.
All right. Well, Shayla, thank you so much for that insight there. We want to also get to some new video just into our newsroom. This is ground video that was sent in, we want to say just a short time ago. So within the last hour or so, this has been video that's been taken, and you can see just the conditions there in terms of the smoke that makes it difficult to even see through the homes there. Also just how close to these homes, and even there it looks like well, that looks like hillsides that are a hillside that's burning there. But this video was sent in the Highland area. Okay, here we go. Crews battling a fire there that's very close to a property. So you can see the conditions that firefighters are having to work through and just how thick the smoke is. I mean, through the camera, we're barely able to see it. Yeah.
And you're watching this video for the first time as we are. This is just into our newsroom, and you can see just what firefighters out there are dealing with. This is widespread, and it is very close to properties. You can see just over that hill, this man on the roof of his house, looks like taking video, not spraying down his home, right? Taking video, and just behind these homes. I mean, we are talking about a fire that is getting pretty close to properties, and it's some scary stuff there. We saw firefighters on scene, and we know there have been aerial assaults on this fire, but they can only do so much. This is such a large fire at this point. It looks like there are so many burn points. I just saw a video from Keller Peak, and you could see in the distance from that vantage point that there are several large plumes of smoke spread out. So resources have to be spread rather thin at this point. You can see the heat coming off of these fires. You get a little fire-nado going at certain points, but this is big trouble. And if you are in those evacuation zones, as we have told you, it is time to leave. It is time to get out. Your things should have already been packed. A lot of vehicles, I'm sure this person right here has to be in an evacuation zone, and hopefully they get the notice again, because we don't want to be covering a fire, first of all, but we really don't want to be talking about a fire with any fatalities. You can see that view on the left side of your screen. It looks like an explosion. This looks like the aftermath of what you see after an explosion, and it is a fire that has been raging since Thursday, but really picking up all of that fuel today and just going. It has exploded in size, now more than 7,100 acres, and it looks like some homes might be in danger this evening.
Yeah, and really what stands out to me in this new video that we're taking a look at right now, especially on some, is the wind. You see kind of every which way that the trees are blowing there, and just how strong those winds are, which makes things more difficult. Right? It makes the fire spread more rapidly, and B, too, it was mentioned. Chris Prater with San Bernardino County Fire mentioned that all of those drafts in the various directions makes it difficult for firefighters to try to get on one side or the other to then attack the fire from one particular direction. So it's just kind of Murphy's Law with this. The heat, the fire, the winds, the lightning, it's just all kind of compounding.
Right, and we're talking about, if you know this area, Running Springs, Arrow Bear Lake, all of Running Springs, all of Arrow Bear Lake have been placed under evacuation order, and then the area east of Orchard Road to Clover Hill, Highland Ave north to the foothills in Highland. So this is a large area. Those two areas are fairly spread out. So the road through Running Springs and Arrow Bear Lake, if they are under evacuation orders, that is going to affect the road up to Big Bear. And I don't know if we have anything in last check. This was 5 hours old, but Big Bear put out notice that the roads are still open. That may have changed within the last couple of hours. I would imagine with the changes in the evacuation orders, if the fire is affecting that portion of town, that there might be some closures on those roadways. But as of last check, City of Big Bear said SR 38, SR 18, SR 330 remain open. But again, that might be dated at this time. We have to wait and see. The Caltrans map does not show any closures.
We know
in
Highway
that area.
330, closed in both directions
Okay,
now.
great.
So that's at least that highway. I know some of the others you mentioned, I don't know, but Highway 330 we know closed in both directions. So if you are in that warning area, officials say kind of go into that with two possible routes to evacuate. So you do want to be mindful that some of the routes that you would maybe normally take may be closed right now. But again, if you are in this area, use this time to prepare and pack your bags and check on your neighbors. We're told, too, that some people got notification that they had to evacuate via a text message from the sheriff. So definitely have your phone charged and handy and ready. And, just our hearts, too, go out to I can't imagine, what the anxiety that the neighbors in this neighborhood, feel having to see this. And maybe that's kind of also, too, you mentioned we saw the guy that's on the roof taking the video. It's just wanting to kind of capture, wow, this is what's happening to me, and kind of that urgency there of like, this can't be real. Let me just get a video of what I'm experiencing and what this looks like. So hopefully he's safe and Yeah,
depth of field could be a little bit to it. Those flames could be further than they appear on this camera, so it could be a ridge or two over. But man, with as dry and as hot as things have been, as we have learned, unfortunately, too many times over again, these fires can move very quickly. But again, this is the line fire burning in Highland and up to Running Springs and Arrow Bear Lake. We can't emphasize enough how dangerous the conditions are right now, both for people whose homes are threatened with the fire itself and those in the vicinity who have to breathe now this toxic air. The air quality is problematic, and if you can stay indoors, if you are able to stay indoors, you are advised to do that.
Yeah.
But if you are under evacuation warning, you need to get out of your house right now.
Yeah, and I believe we're taking a look right now at our Big Bear camera there. You can see just how smoky it is and how people have shared with us not only that it's like the smoke is an issue for what they're seeing and what that means for the fire, but also just breathing in the smoke. One person that we spoke with earlier, whose named Celeste, who lives in Highland, says that the smell is really hard. It smells bad, and they're having to deal with that now. And we know that there is also advisory in terms of the air quality. So even if you're not being impacted by possible flames approaching your home and being told to evacuate or being warned that you may have to evacuate, if you are in this area, you do want to be cautious as you step outside, as Jory just mentioned, maybe in a mask, maybe some type of air purifier, what is it called? Yeah,
Like a HEPA filter?
HEPA filter. Yeah, I have one running at my house right now for my dog. Not because of the fire, but yeah, just be cautious as these conditions are. We want to say hopefully getting better, but based off the information that we have right now, just 0% containment under some really difficult conditions out there for firefighters.
And this is night 3 of the firefight, so these guys have to be rather spent already. This is 72 hours of fighting this fire around the clock. We do want to let you know, for those who are evacuated or those who might have to be evacuated, there is that shelter set up at Emmanuel Baptist Church on Baseline Street. The Red Cross and Animal Control are on site to assist both humans and animals. If you need shelter or support, you can head there. There are also other animal care resources from the line fire. If you need to evacuate pets and